Wow, Kamala Harris just delivered a historic speech at the Ellipse, and I want to react to some of the best moments from her closing argument to the nation with you guys. Now, this is incredibly significant for a few reasons, but mainly because VP Harris is speaking at the exact place where Donald Trump riled up rioters 4 years ago on January 6th into storming the Capitol and interrupting the peaceful transfer of power directly due to his election fraud lies that were already debunked at that time. He already knew they were false. So, VP Harris's intention here was to draw a contrast by speaking at the same place and showing one candidate actually cares about democracy, the Constitution, the rule of law, and the other doesn't, and she succeeded. At the same time, she also baited Donald Trump into a meltdown. He spoke less than an hour later, and he immediately gets on stage and says the crowd was non-existent, even though that's not true. There was an estimated 30, 40, 50,000 people present at this. So, without further ado, we have 1 week to go. Drop a like, subscribe, watch until the end to help boost Kamala's pro-democracy message, and let's jump right in with this clip of Kamala saying that Donald Trump is unstable and obsessed with revenge, which is absolutely true.
Look, we know who Donald Trump is. He is the person who stood at this very spot nearly 4 years ago and sent an armed mob to the United States Capitol to overturn the will of the people in a free and fair election. An election that he knew he lost. Americans died as a result of that attack. 140 law enforcement officers were injured because of that attack. And while Donald Trump sat in the White House watching as the violence unfolded on television, he was told by his staff that the mob wanted to kill his own vice president. And Donald Trump responded with 2 words: "So what?" America, that's who Donald Trump is.
I think the worst part of it all is when Kevin McCarthy was screaming at Donald Trump over the phone, tell these rioters to leave, to get these rioters out of here, and Trump's response was, it sounds like they care more about election fraud than you, Kevin, and Kevin lost his shit at that moment, rightfully so.
And that's who is asking you to give him another 4 years in the Oval Office. Not to focus on your problems, but to focus on his. And Donald Trump has told us his priorities for a second term. He has an enemies list of people he intends to prosecute. He says that one of his highest priorities is to set free the violent extremists who insulted those law enforcement officers on January 6th. Donald Trump intends to use the United States military against American citizens who simply disagree with him. People he calls, quote, the enemy from within.
He said that himself.
America, this is not a candidate for president who is thinking about how to make your life better. This is someone who is unstable, obsessed with revenge, consumed with grievance, and out for unchecked power. Donald Trump has spent a decade trying to keep the American people divided and afraid of each other. That is who he is. But America, I am here tonight to say that is not who we are.
Amazing, amazing closing argument.
That is not who we are.
I love it from VP Harris, and at the same time, Donald Trump began to melt down. Well, this was about 30 minutes later in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
She can't get anybody. 3 days ago, she said Beyonce was coming. So people came to see Beyonce, but Beyonce went up. Thank you very much.
I don't even want to listen to this guy yap anymore. I don't want to listen to this whiny dude complain. That's all I'll say. Let's jump back to VP Harris when she says we are not a vessel for wannabe dictators.
Nearly 250 years ago, America was born when we wrested freedom from a petty tyrant. Across the generations, Americans have preserved that freedom, expanded it, and in so doing, proved to the world that a government of, by, and for the people is strong and can endure. And those who came before us, the patriots at Normandy and Selma, Seneca Falls and Stonewall, on farmlands and factory floors, they did not struggle, sacrifice, and lay down their lives only to see us cede our fundamental freedoms.
This is amazingly written, and she's delivering it perfectly as well.
They didn't do that only to see us submit to the will of another petty tyrant.
She brought it back.
These United States of America, we are not a vessel for the schemes of wannabe dictators. The United States of America is the greatest idea humanity ever devised. A nation big enough to encompass all our dreams, strong enough to withstand any fracture or fissure between us, and fearless enough to imagine a future of possibilities.
So good from VP Harris. I mean, incredibly, incredibly good. Meanwhile, and I hate to do this to you guys, we have Donald Trump complaining about Michelle Obama. The difference in maturity between these two. And also, his voice is so annoying. I can't handle it.
Never, ever recover. And by the way, Michelle Obama was very nasty to me. Ooh. Oh, she was nasty. I've gone out of my way to be nice to Michelle. I've gone out of my way to be nice to Michelle. Never said a bad thing about her when other people didn't like her so much. And she hit me the other day because they're desperate. They don't want Trump back because we're going to turn this country around and show how bad they were and how incompetent they were. But she hit me.
He's so mad. He is such a whiner. Like, this actually hurt his ego. He's not even doing a performance. He's actually seething.
Now, the fake news doesn't care about that. But if I hit her, they'll say, oh, what a horrible thing it was. She can hit me, she can go, and she can say whatever the hell she wants. If I hit her just a little tiny bit,
the Trump combat knife on the right, totally not creepy whatsoever. Let's go back to the normal rally over here. No, not this one. This one with VP Harris saying, you know, we like a good debate in this country.
Our democracy doesn't require us to agree on everything. In fact, we like good arguments from time to time. Just think of your own family, right?
Think of this channel.
It's not the American way to not have disagreements. We don't shy away from robust debate. In fact, we like a good debate, don't we? We like a good debate. And the fact that someone disagrees with us does not make them the enemy within. That's right. They are family, neighbors, classmates, co-workers. They are fellow Americans. And as Americans, we rise and fall together.
Great stuff from VP Harris. One more clip of her saying in less than 90 days, either Donald Trump and I will be in the Oval Office.
So look, in less than 90 days, either Donald Trump or I will be in the Oval Office. Okay? On day one.
Listen, now she's not going to say she'll be a dictator on day one.
And on day one, if elected, Donald Trump would walk into that office with an enemies list. When elected, I will walk in with a to-do list. Full of priorities of what I will get done for the American people. And I will work with everyone, Democrats, Republicans, and independents to help Americans who are working hard and still struggling to get ahead. I have been honored to serve as Joe Biden's vice president. But I will bring my own experiences and ideas to the Oval Office. My presidency will be different because the challenges we face are different. Our top priority as a nation 4 years ago was to end the pandemic and rescue the economy. Now, our biggest challenge is to lower costs that were rising even before the pandemic and that are still too high.
Boom, staying on message and also distancing herself from the Biden administration in a beautiful yet respectful way at the same time. That's something that she had trouble doing before because those voter focus groups did not like Kamala's old answer to that question, how will you be different than Biden? She used to say something like, well, it won't be that different. Those focus groups did not like that, so she's tweaked it a little bit more. Here's her saying that she doesn't like when people get treated unfairly.
Now look, let me say, I recognize this has not been a typical campaign. Even though I've had the honor of serving as your vice president for the last 4 years, I know that many of you are still getting to know who I am. Well, let me tell you, I am someone who has spent most of my career outside of Washington, D.C., so I know that not all the good ideas come from here. I am not afraid of tough fights against bad actors and powerful interests, because for decades, as a prosecutor and a top law enforcement officer of our biggest state, I won fights against big banks that ripped off homeowners, against for-profit colleges that scammed veterans and students, against predators who abused women and children, and cartels that trafficked in guns, drugs, and human beings. And I did this work because for as long as I can remember, I have always had an instinct to protect. There's something about people being treated unfairly or overlooked that frankly just gets to me. I don't like it. It's what my mother instilled in me, a drive to hold accountable those who use their wealth or power to take advantage of other people. The drive to protect hardworking Americans who aren't always seen or heard and deserve a voice, and I will tell you that is the kind of president I will be. And look, I'll be honest with you, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. But here's what I promise you. I will always listen to you, even if you don't vote for me. I will always tell you the truth, even if it is difficult to hear. I will work every day to build consensus and reach compromise to get things done. And if you give me the chance to fight on your behalf, there is nothing in the world that will stand in my way.
Amazing clips from VP Harris. I absolutely love it. If you're one of the millions of dog owners just like me, you're probably aware that maintaining a healthy dog can be complicated. They can have joint discomfort, bad odor, lack of energy, smelly breath, and those are just a handful of the troubles a dog could experience. But what exactly separates a healthy dog from an unhealthy dog? Well, according to Dr. Marty Goldstein, one of America's most renowned holistic vets, there's one potentially dangerous substance which is found in many dog foods that you should stop feeding your dog today. If your dog has been feeling tired or not having the energy it used to, this one compound could be the reason. Many dog food manufacturers have this substance in their dog food, and it's one that most consume on a daily basis. This is something that's not being reported by most mainstream media and big dog food manufacturers. So, after years of research, Dr. Marty has decided to release an informative video to the public, free and uninterrupted, showcasing exactly which foods you should stop feeding to your dog and which foods are safe. He explains why you need to be feeding your dog nature Nature's Blend, which you can learn about right now by going to healthydog1.com/Adam or by clicking in the first link in the description below. That's healthydog1.com/Adam. Just making this one simple change he made helps support your dog's health, and you can do the same by making a change every single day. Again, that's healthydog1.com/Adam. You won't believe how simple it is. Thank you.